Oh man, you know that part in The Crow where the crow he's like really cool and he swings from the window and like
Yeah,
breaks through it and he's got the glass like it
yeah,
makes the blood in his hand. And he's
yeah.
like it shows the
Do you
blood
remember?
dripping
Do you
from it.
remember
It's
that
really
bit?
cool, right?
Remember that
Bobby, don't
bit
you like that
where
part? Yeah.
he's on the rooftop and he's
Yeah,
smashing
yeah,
the
he's just playing the
guitar. He's
guitar.
like,
Yeah, and
"Rubba!"
it's the cool
and
shot and it's like the super stylized
yeah,
like orange
it was
sky with all
almost
the
like
clouds and it's
it had almost
super
like a
gothic. It looks
type of
like a
sauce
gothic
that
like
would
90s
yeah,
music video. It's dope. Yeah.
and he was he
Yeah, yeah, and he hangs from the ceiling and he does all those cool flips and he's like he wears that makeup and he looks like a clown, but
so the context
not
is
like the
that
Joker clown,
Dalton didn't like
but like a gothic clown, like a
Dalton.
clown if he
But
was
do you
edgy.
remember when all of that was stupid and pretentious?
See,
No.
this is
This is the context. The context is I didn't like The Crow.
the
So
context
you
is that
I think
Dalton is
Foolsville
wrong.
sucks.
You've clicked on this
And-
video because the title said I hate The Crow.
And guess
I
what?
do.
He doesn't hate
I
The
don't
Crow.
think people
He's
clicked
gonna
on the
he's gonna
video.
lie to you. He's gonna say more positive things about this movie than he will
You see,
negative things. Just you watch.
It's called clickbait.
Semi-pro
I bait
film
Right?
show-
We are lying to you.
The semi-pro film show loves to film The Crow, the movie The Crow by Alex.
I wouldn't say I loved
Alex,
it, but
director.
before we get into
Proyas,
that,
he made I, Robot. I like that movie. Will Smith, he's got a cool Shaft style leather trench coat, and he wears
Is everything
in the
Shaft
context of the
style?
movie-
Is this shit
He also
Shaft?
if it's a black trench coat, yes,
he invented it. He invented the look. It's not my fault.
it's true. No, it's true. But
He
no, I
also
remember
made
in iRobot,
Knowing,
in
which is a
iRobot,
really
Will Smith,
stupid movie.
Will Smith in iRobot, he wears Converse that presumably at the time of the movie were like a new Converse drop, but in the movie because it's like a future dystopian whatever, they're like it's like, oh man, I got these cool vintage retro Converse. Do you get it? It takes place in the
Before we get into that, Bobbin is here with us today.
Hi.
Bobby, our boy Bobby, he's here.
Robert Bobby Chastain of Designed by Bobby fame.
Alvin Draper is here with us.
Yeah.
Bobby, why don't you just go ahead and introduce yourself and explain
Yeah,
why
talk
you're
about
here.
Hi.
Tell the class a few things about yourself. What did you do? What did you do over the summer?
Oh gee, gosh, I went to the
geez,
pool and I saw I saw my friends there. It was
nice.
Eric Raven the Crow and
Eric Raven.
Eric Raven, and he's a pretentious turd, and I don't like him.
Nice.
So hi, this
He's
is
dead. A man died, Dalton.
All right,
Show
Daniel,
some
you know good and well you'd bully him in high school. Anyway, Bobby,
hi,
explain why
I-
you're here.
My name is Bobby and I'm on Semi-Pro Film Show and I'm talking with my good friends of a very long time, unfortunately, about The Crow because The Crow. I'm a costume designer and I'm creating a production. It's called Robin Gothica. It is a big involved body of work that a lot of people are involved in.
Yo,
It's a big
I'll body you if
thing
you know
we're
what I
working
mean,
on.
bro.
Big involved body of work.
I'm gonna stop talking to all of you after
No, man,
this.
keep going. Talk about.
No, keep talking.
But-
You gotta
I
keep
let my
going.
cat out.
We're making an edgy leather comic book sweep. Is
Yes.
that the
Yeah,
name?
semi-pro edge sweep. Semi-pro edge. You can't see it. Maybe if the video cuts to me, if I'm the only one talking, you'll see on my little teacher sign here. It says
Oh.
semi-pro edge. Get
Right.
that? Because it's edgy.
So
Like a blade.
we're kind of
It's like a river.
sweeping-
It winds.
We're sweeping movies that inspired my project. They're kind of
We're
helping
sweeping
me
the
out
floor
with-
because it's freaking dirty, dude.
What?
It's not clean. I had to sweep that shit up, man.
Maybe
It's
even mop, dude. It's like it's filthy.
maybe. Well, if I'm mopping, I definitely can't slip.
Yeah,
you know
well,
what
I mean,
I'm
how
saying?
can I slip if I'm the one doing the mopping?
I'm the one mopping, you know.
Um, But yeah, Bobbin. So tell us a little bit about Robin Gothica.
Let me tell you about my project, Robin Gothica, that
Let
I'm
me tell you
producing.
something.
So it is a big body of work, and it is a
I'll give you a
costume
big body of
photo
work.
shoot. It is a costume photo shoot. It is a video shoot. It is lots of art from many different artists that I love and admire and
And
adore.
you are co-producing this project with our other good friend Nathaniel Ozinski,
Nathaniel William Ozinski is
who
a
will be appearing for the rest of
Yeah,
this
he'll be
week,
here next week,
starting next
hopefully.
week, and continuing after that for the rest of the sweep. Hopefully, yeah.
Nathaniel William
Where we will
Ozinski
be watching
flaked on.
a bunch of various different
Various different things. We'll
yeah,
talk about it at the end.
we'll get there. It'll be but I don't know if any of us really know all the ones we're watching yet.
I think
I
we
don't know.
do, and we'll talk about it at the end.
Someone might know, but I don't think all of us know.
It's
Yeah,
more
but we'll talk about it
so.
at the end.
So for our Robin
Yeah.
Gothica project, we created a really nerdy little letterboxed list, and it kind of has the films that inspired our project, and we're kind of going off of that a little bit. We have The Crow, which is a big one, which we just watched. Daredevil director's cut. I think we threw out The
Yeah, Ben
Craft,
Affleck sleeps in
Underworld.
he takes a bath. He takes an Epsom salt bath in a coffin.
He takes pills, but he doesn't swallow them. He just chews them.
Okay, so how
Right.
do you start the podcast post intro?
Well, before we get into the start of the
I don't know, man,
podcast,
you be in this hoe.
before we start the podcast, we have to say this first and foremost. Go ahead and send this to your gothist
sure.
friend. Go ahead and send
Yeah.
the link to this. Go ahead and share it. Click the share button. Send this to
Yeah,
a friend
send it.
you know who probably cuts themselves.
Maybe not that.
See, I don't know if I like
who-
that. I don't know.
Someone who maybe self-harmed in the past, but they've
Right.
gotten
No,
over it.
I
and
don't
they're
mean
doing better
currently.
now.
I meant at some point. Yeah,
Um,
for sure.
yeah. Someone who's they've got the scars, but they don't hide them. They're like, it's not something you talk about.
Yeah,
but they're there, and
I
it's
for
just
sure
like,
meant like
you know.
I'm sorry, I said that poorly. I meant like somebody who's
Yeah.
been through that and like still
Right.
holds the
in
aesthetic,
the most respect in the
but doesn't still holds the aesthetic, but isn't
Stop
currently-
saying that.
But isn't
in the most
There's still time
respectable
to
way
start over.
possible.
There's still
Yeah,
time to
Send
start
this
over.
send this to someone who has struggled with self-harm.
yeah, I more mean like somebody.
See, I'm
who-
going
send someone
to
to-
completely
somebody
wipe
who's come
over
through
all
it.
of that, and I'm going to
somebody
say,
who's
send this to your friend who likes The Crow 1994.
Sure.
Directed
nobody
by-
likes
I
the
think they
Crow.
Let's be
1994.
real. Let's be real. You guys are saying the same thing. You know, the things go hand in hand. You know, there's no need to split hairs here.
Oh no,
Oh.
I did genuinely mean like somebody who's been through it, who's come
Right.
out on the other side.
I get it,
I'm
yeah,
I'm
no,
a
'cause
little
I do-
older
I do-
than
I
you,
do
Bob,
know.
and like at this point, most of the
For
people
sure,
in my life.
I know plenty of people like that who where it's like you'll see the scars and it's like maybe something they've brought up once, but you don't really talk about it. It's just it's a thing they went through. It's whatever. It's life.
But
you
they
know?
still, when you see them at a
Um,
wedding, they have
and, you know,
cufflinks with a
obvious-
skull on them. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Like,
And obviously, you know, anyone out there who is struggling with thoughts of self-harm, not to get all real because this is the semi-pro film show, but you know, help is out there, you know.
for sure, yeah. Find help. Talk to
You
somebody.
know,
like, yeah.
talk to your mom, talk to your dad.
I'm
talk
sorry,
to your
I got
youth
us off on this
pastor.
tangent.
Disastrous
You know?
first 10 minutes.
Well, it's the Crow. It's hard not
give
to.
me a call. You know,
Right.
I'll talk to you. I'll
Yeah.
talk to you. Yeah,
Give-
we'll have a
give-
Talk to your
conversation.
cool youth
Don't-
pastor.
don't
Talk to
K.
Toby
Barrett,
Maguire.
call.
Send
You know
this
his
to
nickname
somebody
is,
you
Checkers.
know. Send this to somebody you know who's kind of like autistically obsessed with aquascapes and aquariums.
Oh.
Yeah,
That's kind of what I'm going through
sure.
currently. You know what I mean? Like, check
Right,
it,
right.
check
No, I
it,
get
check
it.
it.
Send this to anyone you know who is a fan of Postal, the video game, or the Postal Dude from Postal, the video game.
So The
Some
Crow
wearing a trench coat
1994.
with,
begins
Go ahead.
with-
Hey,
Postal
go,
Dude
but,
from
but,
the
but,
Postal
but
video
Bobbin,
game.
not to cut you off,
You know,
but
Postal-
before we jump into it,
The video
go
game.
ahead and send this to someone you know who unironically wears a trench coat, or even ironically wears a trench coat.
Really?
Just somebody you know who
Right,
wears
so
a
send it
trench
to
coat.
me.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you know me, send it to me.
Send this to someone you know in 2024 who's wearing a trench coat, or you've ever seen wear a trench coat, because that's a ridiculous thing
I
to do in the
remember,
modern era.
a really
Come
long
on,
time
man.
ago, I lived in a little town called Silva, North Carolina, and I was running out by the library, doing just like jogging, and I saw someone in a leather trench coat and like black pants and a black top and a black fedora in real life, and it was really terrifying. And I would like to
Yeah,
find
That's
isn't
that.
it?
crazy.
It's so much
You
scarier
know,
in
he had a
person.
katana tucked under
Yeah,
there too.
it's a
That's
little
crazy.
scary.
Yeah.
There's a guy in the town that I live in who he works at Publix, and he's like a cashier at Publix. And if
Mhm.
you drive at the right time of day down a particular main street in our town, you can see him walking to Publix, fully loaded, black t-shirt, black jeans, black boots with spikes on them, and a black leather
No,
trench coat.
Dude,
no.
think he the crow, bro. That's
And it's
crazy. Dude is not
hilarious.
Eric Raven.
I can't remember. There used to be because the street that this Publix that he works at is on is the same street I went to high school, and I can't
Mhm.
remember what people used to call him, but they used to call him like the crypt keeper of the town we're in or something, and it was really
Sure,
really funny.
right?
So send this to someone you know like that. Like send it to somebody who you know
Yeah,
who wears a trench coat.
send this to someone you went to high school with that you always thought might shoot up the school.
Yeah,
You know?
that's a good one.
Whether it
We're
was
going back
legitimate
in
or just like a
the
joke. Like I know Josh
uh
has said that about our good friend Josh and former semi-pro host.
He'll be back.
He's coming back. He'll be back.
We'll see him soon.
He's talked about how his friends in high school or whatever they call it in that
Oh,
dog
it's
shit
it's
country.
the prime
Oh,
leagues.
it's sixth form, isn't it? At least our
We
schools.
call that early maths.
Oh,
But
yeah,
yeah,
this is someone who
so
looks
Bobbin,
like a
what
school
is the
shooter.
Crow about?
The
let me
Crow.
tell you about the Crow.
Hey, let me tell you
Tell us
something.
about the Crow.
94.
1994, which is important to
Literally
understand this movie.
1994.
It's important to understand
It
that
is,
it came out in 1994.
This
Yeah.
film, The Crow, is based
Oh,
on
film.
a comic book of the same name,
Right,
a comic
also called
series,
The Crow. Yeah.
also called The
Yeah.
Crow, by James.
I haven't
O'Barr.
read it.
No one has
Right.
read it besides me.
No,
It is
no.
one of my favorite comic
No
books.
one on this podcast other than Bobbin knows how to read. So
Right. I've never
Right.
read before.
there's
This
that
hat
to
says
take into
Pasm.
account. Yo, ain't that the Andrew Garfield Spider-Man movie?
So Bobbin, the Crow.
The Crow. Eric Raven.
You
Talk
know,
about
it's about this cool guy. His name is
Mhm.
Eric Raven Draven Craven.
Eric.
And
His name is Alvin Draper.
his name is
James Franco's in this movie.
So, sort of, but not really. The guy from Nope looks like James Franco though, and he is
Right.
the-
So is
So
Erno
the
Hud,
film-
villain of the
Hud
film.
Huddy? Kid
the
Cudi
film
is in
follows
this movie?
Eric, who was brutally murdered. He and his wife were murdered 1 year ago, and he's been
Right,
resurrected
on Devil's Night.
on
which
Devil's
is
Night,
the
and he's been resurrected
night
mysteriously.
before Halloween. Yeah, he
was
was
that it?
brought back to life.
I think it
It was
is
October
Halloween.
30th,
Is
I
also
think, is
known
what it
as
said.
Devil's Night. I think.
Okay.
I thought that's what the news
I
report
thought it
said.
said. I thought it said October 30th, but I could be wrong.
Yeah, it could be either way.
Maybe
I think
October. Maybe you're confused about how many days are in October. Maybe there is only 30. I don't know.
no, there's
Who's to say?
31
30 days has
because
September,
Halloween is
April,
October
yeah.
31st.
It's 31st. Yeah.
I thought it said that Halloween and Devil's Night were the same day.
Regardless,
It's assumed night. It doesn't matter.
Regardless.
It does
It
not
does
matter
not
in this
matter.
slide.
Right.
But, so,
It matters
none
a
of this
little
matters.
bit.
None of this. It don't
Eric,
matter.
If they
Is-
mention it in
is-
the
None of this
movie,
ma-
it
none of
matters.
this None of this matters.
Eric is resurrected, and he is.
Yo, check
on
out the
a
semi-pro
revenge
merch
story.
store.
I'm going to jump
Bonfire.
off of
This
the
is why
Bonfire.
Josh
Bonfire.
quit doing the podcast.
Bonfire.
I
Hold on, let
think,
me get the exact link. Hold
hmm.
up.
Okay.
Because there's new merch dropped. SP loan, no connection to V loan. Bonfire.com/store/semi
It's in the
pro
link
hyphen
tree,
film
which is
hyphen
in our
schlo
description.
slash. Oh, did you finally put it in there?
Yeah.
Cool. All right, then yeah, check that.
Bobbin, tell us about the Crow.
Talk about the Crow. Eric
See,
Raven
I really want
Draper.
to. I think Dalton, you can tell us about the Crow.
No, you're doing
So the
plot breakdown
Crow,
for sure.
The Crow.
Break down
Cool,
the
I got
plot.
it.
No,
I got it. I
let's.
found the
Bobbin's a guest.
The
Let him break down the
Crow?
plot.
Okay,
The
I'm
Crow.
breaking down the
The
plot. I'm
Crow.
breaking down the plot. So,
Go for it.
Eric is
Go for
resurrected,
it,
and
go
he's
for
like,
it.
Sin.
so the story is like extremely simple. Essentially,
It's a
Eric
standard revenge
It's
plot.
very
It is the
simple.
most
Yeah,
standard
Eric
it is.
just goes
Yeah,
one by one after,
but without the
each
most important
person.
part of a revenge plot. But anyway, we'll get
Okay.
there.
No,
Okay.
it has that in the exact capacity it's needed for a baseline revenge plot, where it doesn't need to focus on it for half the fucking movie like Mad Max.
So,
So the Crow
So the Crow.
comes back to life
the Crow.
So
through a
back
mysterious
to 9/11.
supernatural crow.
Eric
Don't laugh at
slash
9/11,
the
dude.
Crow.
Come on. I was there. I had to crawl. I had to crawl through the blood and the
This
bones.
is
looking for my
horrible. I
brother.
understand what Bobbin was saying earlier. Anyway,
There's
back
still
to the
time to
plot.
start over.
I know there's not. I'm just gonna be quiet, Bobbin. I'm gonna let you
It
start
can't rain
talking
all the
about the
time.
plot of the Crow.
So Eric goes after all the individuals responsible for the murder of him and his fiance, and he's killing them in a very brutal, stylistic manner. He's igniting
is
crow
Eric?
symbols.
At this point in the
Eric.
film, who is Eric?
He's the guy that put like 50 chests or 50 knives in that one dude Tintin's chest.
But at
in
this
the pawn
point in the
shop.
movie, who is Eric?
Eric is a man who came back to life, went to an apartment and had a flashback about him and his wife or fiance, soon to be fiance. He hadn't proposed yet.
Oh right, yeah.
Whatever that is, fiance to be, basically wife.
Right.
Cooking and having fun, and then getting
What I more
getting
was
murdered
getting at
and
is
brutally assaulted.
Eric.
That's who the character
So the
is.
movie like
It's that, it's
opens.
what I
The
just
movie
said.
opens on this like
No, that's what I just
miniature
said,
of the
though.
city,
That's
and
what
there's
the
some
character
fake
is. It's
fire,
what-
and
no,
it's
it's
a
what I
little
just said,
goofy
though.
looking. But looking back, I forgive it, and it's kind of cool,
It's
and it fits the
94,
aesthetic.
you know.
I
mean, it's a talking dog.
In the opening of the movie, we see a woman dying, and that's really kind of all we see.
That's the only one we see. We see. So it zooms in and then pans down from that like clock tower looking building where I think we see Ernie Hudson in that scene.
Yeah,
or
Ernie
it's
Hudson
just-
was the
it's just
cop.
unspecified
there.
whatever.
He
But
was
yes,
the cop
we see
on,
Ernie
yeah.
Hudson and dead woman on like a stretcher or just on the ground. I don't remember.
And then
I think probably a stretcher because we later find out she wasn't dead yet and she suffered in the hospital.
Yeah,
for a
it was for
while.
sure a stretcher. She was on oxygen and stuff.
Right.
But then so that's kind of our introductory scene, and then the plot kicks off, and Eric Craven, aka the Crow, aka he's dead in real life. He
was killed with a squib by the
right.
man
He
who
died
had
filming
the crow.
this movie. Yeah,
He had, but the man that killed him was the man that
We'll get there. 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 He comes back from the dead, and there's a crow that follows him, and that kind of sends us on this revenge plot. And he's taking down the people that, executed him and his wife.
Yeah.
And the movie kind of reveals that as it goes. Like, it doesn't necessarily, like, we see the first guy he kills happen to be there.
We see the initial one when he goes to the apartment, this is where I think the heaviest disagreement about the movie is.
Dalton can't
the
understand
disagreement came
both
very
Bobby
early.
and I.
I'm gonna
both-
save the
both-
disagreement for the end, so we don't have to really talk about
I'm
it.
gonna get into it now. I think it's fine to get, because this is where we're at. So both Bob and I agree that this is a fine way to it's enough for a revenge plot. We see the basis of his motivation through flashback. It's simple, it's fine. And then as we go further for each one, we get a little more specific about each one, and also with the little girl we get a little more.
So
whatever.
okay, it's
And
my
for-
turn. Dalton, hold on, it's my turn. It's my turn.
Go ahead.
This is your-
Yeah. Hey, I'll let you talk. Graf.
Podcast. Go ahead.
Okay, so we're going pro crow. This is the pro crow team, all right? Semi.
And I am anti-crow. I'm a Democrat and you're a Republican.
Yo, you crow life, he crow choice, bro.
I think I'll get off the podcast now. However, so Eric's motivations are revealed to us through these little flashbacks that we get, which are hit or miss depending on your preferences.
Right. I guess they never miss,
But
huh?
the film kind of opens with a cold open, and we don't know anything about Eric, and we don't know his motivations until
Right. Yeah, we
he's
do. We do
really
just
going
get a
after
big scene
someone.
running across the roof in the rain. That was
Right.
cool. Dalton
Yeah.
didn't like
And
it,
it
but
was
I loved it.
pretentious and stupid. But anyway,
Okay, okay.
Running. Right. Yeah. Go ahead.
is it my turn?
I guess it's your
I
turn.
don't know.
I think it's your
We're
turn.
just
Both
talking.
both of you have said the same thing, and I don't think they equal. Motivation doesn't equal character. And I think that's where my disagreement in this movie comes. I think we have a lot of like motivation. Here's why, but not a lot of character, as in like this is why I like this guy, or this is why
Okay,
I'm on this
so
guy's side.
Admittedly, I can sort of see that.
And that I think is my
because
biggest problem with the movie is
the
I'm never given a reason to root for him
I
other
don't I
than
see
bad things
I
happen to
disagree.
I
him.
No.
completely disagree.
But
I completely
I don't
disagree there. In
think
terms
like
of
just
in terms
because
of
bad things happen to somebody that means I should
okay,
root
shut up
for
for a
them.
second. Okay, shut up for a second. I will say he could have had more of a character. Like because he's got this cool idea. He's this punk rocker who dies, but we never actually see him as a punk rocker. We only know that because the one girl plays that one record, and we see this one picture over and fucking over again of him in a punk rock band.
Right. We see an album
Um,
cover 1,000 times.
yeah, but we never actually see like we could have gotten like I don't know a little more of that because I really like that aspect this gothic rock
And I
star
think even that little bit
anti-hero edgy character
would have sold me on this movie because
and and for me I don't need more because it's cool enough but that little more of giving it a little more perspective, just a little more seeing him rocking out, seeing him as a rock star other than them just saying it. And I mean, I guess they did. They have him on the roof
Let
playing that.
me chime in really quick and tell
Go
you
for it.
how
Yeah.
much I love
You win.
You don't have to say you're
the.
chiming in, just start talking.
Okay,
That's
well,
what we
no,
do.
'cause that's not helpful because then it all just gets
Just
it's
yell out. Just yell louder.
That's
than
our
us.
podcast.
We'll shut up eventually. Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. See.
So I'm gonna chime in and I'm gonna say I love an edgy, very leather clad.
Oh yeah.
That's a
Okay.
sticky
Yeah.
note.
That's the thing Dalton does. He smokes. He smokes garbage he finds in his room.
Anyway, keep going.
So
keep
I love edgy goth superhero subgenre.
Absolutely.
It's very
Yeah.
niche and it's very strange. But
talking.
here,
Would Blade qualify as that?
I would say the Blade film certainly does qualify.
Then
in
I
that.
love it too. We're in agreement. Keep
Okay.
going.
And you boy, are you gonna love Robin Gothica? Oh my
Maybe
goodness.
let's see, dude.
Whoa.
All right, keep going. Maybe you
Okay,
can. Maybe as you're working on Robin Gothica, you can learn from this. Let's keep talking.
Okay. So wait. Okay. So you're saying maybe like if there was an entire flashback scene, minute and a half, 2 minutes long, and it's like Eric
I don't know. I don't know
backstage.
how it would have been done because I'm not a filmmaker. Like I don't.
Yeah,
Um,
me
Any
neither.
way I'm
Me
thinking
either.
of it isn't. It doesn't sound that good in my head.
So
And also, I'm completely less than sober right now, so any idea I have isn't going to be good.
So
But
here's my intro for this movie.
but I
if I'm
just
making it.
like the idea of like I really like the idea of him as the fact that his character is an edgy punk goth rock star. Like that's what he is, and then he dies, and that's his character. But
for sure.
So
And
something
okay,
I-
so
Go ahead.
we didn't see enough of the edgy rock star.
so
stuff,
here's
and
here's my intro.
that's the only time I'm ever going to agree with Dalton.
And I'm not
Go
saying
ahead,
this
keep
is like
talking,
this
Dalton.
should have been the intro. I'm saying as like this is a very standard baseline, weird, nerdy, very like this would not be a good actual intro. This is just something I'm saying that I think would have been like a good starting point for them to build off of. Does that make sense? Is what I'm saying. Are you guys tracking with me?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, just say the thing,
So
and maybe it'll make sense.
I think starting
Make more
he's-
sense, and then maybe it'll make sense.
the opening scene, like I'm gonna compare it to Blade a little bit. The opening scene of Blade, it's this rave,
Mhm.
it's super cool. Start with a concert. and it's Eric Craven and his band, and they're rocking out. Okay,
Stop
now we're
saying Eric Craven.
It's Draven with a D.
no Eric Raven. Eric Raven. So okay, now we're introduced to the fact he's in a band. It's super cool. It's super interesting. Eric Raven's band, they're rocking out. They leave the concert. He goes home. His girlfriend's there. He cooks her dinner. They have a nice romantic scene. It's super cool.
Sure,
Whatever.
maybe it sets up something in the club. It shows some of the
Sure,
bad guys
yeah,
like watching him.
set something
They're
up.
not fucking with him. They're like, oh man, he's getting all the hoes and we got nothing,
Right.
man. You got
Right.
everything and I got
That's
nothing.
a question
Big
I'm going to
house,
ask
nice
later.
car.
That's a question I'm going to ask later. But anyway, so set that
Oh, we'll
kind of
get
up.
there.
Maybe there's some people there. He goes home. It shows a little bit about the relationship between him and
Hey,
his
y'all see my
girlfriend.
shoes? Y'all watching on YouTube? See the shoes?
Yo,
Boo boos, red leather.
hell foam.
Rah.
What was the
Hey,
joke?
hold up. I'm getting a phone call?
That's it. Anyway, so they're talking, whatever. Like it's showing a nice like romantic relationship between the two of them. They love each other.
Right.
You maybe even see him like pull the ring out of his pocket and he's like, "Oh, I'm going to propose later." Whatever. Like maybe
Sure,
tomorrow's the big
sure.
day. He's going to propose. Like set this stuff up.
Maybe
And
tomorrow
then
I'll want to settle down.
and then that's the
Little
scene.
showboat
People
theme
break into
song
his
coming
house.
up.
They throw him out the window. They kill her. They assault her. Like it's all
Right,
of
all the bad stuff
all of the
happens,
stuff
yeah.
that happens. All the bad stuff happens, and then we are like that's when the opening credits start. The opening credits start explaining the crow. Like there's a crow flying to the grave as the names or whatever. There's like a hard song playing underneath, and it's like, did you know that the crow can carry people? Blah, 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 blah.
It can't rain all the time.
And so in my
Yeah,
mind,
sure.
that sets up, okay, this guy, he's a hard rocker. He loves his girlfriend. He's about to propose. He's charismatic. I like him. And now we jump into the revenge plot. In my mind, that works so much better. Now, what I'm doing is I'm not inventing anything new, but I'm taking the stuff that the movie places sporadically throughout and I'm front loading it at the beginning. That way the rest of the stuff feels less like just something that happens and more like a payoff. Does that make sense? Are you guys rocking?
I get it. And that's fine.
That
I kind of agree
more
in that it would make
traditional.
the movie more concise and more traditional. But I think whether intentional or not, a lot of what I think kind of works about the style of this movie is that it feels like you're following this guy who just got fucking resurrected. He doesn't know what's going on. He's just
And I get that too.
He goes back and he gets these flashbacks. He gets this trauma. It's like all this stuff's hitting him.
I said when we were
Then
watching.
he
This.
puts bad memories in Ernie Hudson's head. It's like, oh, remember the time you were a Ghostbuster and you didn't have a mustache? That fucking sucks, dude.
I did say this while we were
so
watching.
Much better with a mustache.
I did say this while we were watching it. I think this movie would definitely work better as a second viewing.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I think I would like this much more like if I turned around and watched it again in 3 weeks. And I might.
Sure.
Like I might just to see if I get it. But as a first viewing, I just like the untraditional storytelling. And I'm not a huge fan of untraditional storytelling unless it's done really, really like Pulp Fiction. Done really, really well. Mm-hmm. Unconditional storytelling works great. Poorly done unconditional storytelling, I'm not a huge fan of. I think you have to be really, really good of a filmmaker to make that work, and I don't think it works here. But that's just me.
You don't think Alex Proyas, director of iRobot, is
director of Gods of Egypt,
director of Gods of Egypt,
and The Knowing.
No.
Anyway, Bob,
I think like I said, I think it works for this because it feels like you're
I do
this guy
get the idea of like
doesn't know what's
I get the aesthetic. Like I get
Bobby, just say your thing.
Just
chime in,
Bobby,
dude. Just talk
so
over us, man.
Something I think
we always sunny in this, John.
The main draw of The Crow for a lot of people, I feel, is that it just kind of has a really intense energy about it, and the energy is it's punk, it's goth, it has a style, and you're looking at scenes from The Crow, and you're looking at all this energy, like all this just this like he's smashing his guitar and there's like a weird sunset and it's like spooky and like it just has something about it and you look at it and you're like you have a visceral emotion like
So I
feeling
think
like it evokes a feeling.
yeah, I think
For sure,
to
yeah.
go to my point, I think him on the rooftop with this orange sunset and he's smashing his guitar pays off so much better if we've seen him at a concert earlier on in the movie playing his guitar. Maybe he even goes to smash it like whatever, and maybe he doesn't, maybe he does, whatever. I think
Sure,
it
like that's a thing he does, but it's not the same way.
right.
Then he does it more dramatically in
I
the
think it pays
Sure, I think
off
that's
so
fine,
much
but
better.
I don't think it needs that
Yeah, I
though.
don't
Like I
know.
don't
Once again,
I think it works without that.
I think if you know this, I know nothing about The Crow. Let me preface this. I've never read the
Right.
book. I've never heard anything about the book. The only thing I
I know
know,
very minimal, most of which I learned on the toilet while reading the Crow Wikipedia
and
like
you
an
have
hour
seen the
before
movie
hopping on.
before as
And I've
well.
seen the movie a good couple
Yeah,
times.
the
Yeah,
only thing I know about The Crow is that Brandon Lee died while filming it. Like
right.
literally that's all. And so I think going into it completely blind, completely unknowing, completely ignorant to the significance to the
Oh, you're
author,
ignorant already.
to the significance to the demographic of people who like the graphic novel, like all of that stuff. I think it hurt me a bit because like I knew he was a musician, but here's a great example. I don't know how popular he is as a musician. I don't know if he's a
Sure.
very large band, if he's a very small band, if he's touring the country, or if he's just like a little local guy working out of his garage. Like I don't know anything about that.
I don't think that's really what's important though.
Yeah, but
But I
all of
do.
those are character
Like
beats.
I said, yeah, that is where I agree. I do because I really like that part of his character. I do wish that is something that was expanded on more. And
Well,
if
what
I
I'm
thought the
more
new Crow
saying
movie was going to be
is
any good, they were actually doing that storyline. I might be excited,
what
but
I'm more saying is
well, they're
like
not.
all of those are character beats that are going to let me into who he is. If he's a struggling artist, for instance, I sympathize with his want to grow his band and do this for a career as opposed to working at the pharmacy.
Sure, and I
Whereas,
get that, but I don't think a revenge plot needs that. I think all you really need for a revenge plot, and maybe this is just dumb, simple movie idiot brain, that I got. Um, but all it really needs is a reason to exact revenge,
see, I disagree.
and boy got that in
I
spades.
disagree. I think you need
Okay.
a charismatic person who wants revenge and a reason to
Well,
want revenge.
I think he's that.
I don't
I think he's
agree that
charismatic
I
with that.
think that's where the disagreement
Without
is.
okay.
Like I think by the end of the movie,
And
I would agree. He
you
becomes
said this.
charismatic.
I don't remember. I don't remember if this was on recording or not. But you said it could just be a difference in style of what we think
For
is
sure. And it
cool.
is definitely
Because
that.
we had this disagreement talking about Jesse Usher on last week's Shaft thing. I thought Jesse Usher was cool. You think he's a stupid dork, and that's
Right.
okay.
But
Different people think different things is
by
cool.
the end of this movie, I'm not fully in agreement, but I'm in agreement. Like he's awesome. He's doing all these
Yeah,
cool
no,
things.
he starts doing more
His
cool stuff
story
for
has been
sure.
fully
But
revealed, and so I'm more
I just
sympathetic
always think boy's
towards him.
cool.
You know what I mean? But
Well,
when
yeah, because of the way that the story is revealed through flashbacks throughout the movie peppered in. Yeah,
right. And I think I
but
don't
I just don't think the ones that are peppered in are like they're good and they work in that context. But I don't think they're necessary for him as a character or for his ultimate revenge arc, which is just
yeah, I
kill,
just
kill,
think I
kill.
think revenge without because there's motivation, but revenge and motivation without a knowledge of who the revengee is falls flat for me.
Yo,
What
my
were those
bad, man. But I
words?
just my bad, man. Yeah, that was nonsense. So I zoned out. But I just remembered what what the opening bit you were trying to think of was. Um, So hey, so real quick, our our mid bit. Hey, hey, Bobby, what has your life been like recently? What have you been up to
Oh
in your
yeah.
life? What has your life
Oh,
been like?
well, um, it's been cool. I've been working on the hit production Robin Gothica, and
Ooh, yeah.
Use
it
the
Inspired
is
by
words.
the
going
Crow
so
Hey, Bobbin,
1994.
swimmingly.
use the
Hey,
words.
yeah,
Use the words.
okay, okay.
Don't forget to use the words. Keep going, but use the words.
Um, I don't know what the words are, and I've
It's my
been
life be
going
like. We'll cut you off.
back. What?
Just keep
Wait, hold
my
on.
life be like. My
My
life
life be
be
like,
like.
ooh. Oh,
Keep
shut
Oh,
going.
up.
Keep telling us
my
about your
life
life.
is
Yeah.
really cool and great, and it's been going really good, and my life is like going really
Oh,
great.
okay. But what
My
else? What
life
else?
be like,
Ooh,
ooh.
My life be like, ooh. No, it sounds like I really hate this movie. I don't hate this movie. I enjoyed this.
Dalton ripped it apart any
Dalton
chance he
was
got.
talking more shit about this movie
Bro
than he
was
spent time paying
yapping. It
attention to
was
the
I
movie.
will
crazy.
say this, and I
100%.
genuinely mean this
Subscribe to the Patreon, and that you
for
will
sure.
have that confirmed for
Don't
And
yourself.
subscribe to the
and I
Patreon.
Don't say
Oh
it
my
sucks
god.
ass.
no,
I
Don't
don't
do
know if
it.
that
okay,
one's even
and
getting
genuinely I
posted.
mean this, and then we'll kind of rush through the rest of the plot because we're 36 minutes in.
Well,
Whatever.
we've
Um,
kind of gone over the plot.
we've kind of gone over the whole
It's
plot. No,
there's not much to
and
talk
I
about.
do
Yeah.
mean this, and this is gonna sound harsh. From an aesthetic perspective, this is one of my favorite movies we've watched in a long time. It knows what it wants to be visually. It knows how it wants to feel. It knows how it wants to come across. Visually, this movie's great, except for some a little shady CG and practical and whatever. Like
An
other than
indie
that,
flick from 1994 effects.
right. Well, I
Yeah.
mean, 1994, that's late in the game for,
That's an
but
indie
anyway,
flick. That's an indie flick based on a
sure,
niche
it's an
comic
indie
book.
flick. Yeah, whatever.
Right.
From that, like, it looks great. It has this good feel. The soundtrack's great. I think, though, like, I don't remember at all what I was going to say. It all left my brain. What was I saying? What was
Oh
I talking
goodness.
about?
I don't know. But fun little fact. I remembered that I was trying to get out when we finished watching the movie, and I saw the guy's name. But Robert Shirley, one of the people who's credited as one of the two writers on this movie. Um, the reason how that happened, because he was eventually fired from the movie, I think. But he was trying to sell some comic to some comic company that was super similar to the Crow, and they told him no. They were like, this is super similar to the Crow. It was
It
like
was
right around
Horse
the time the Crow
Ninja.
comic. Sure. It was right around the time the Crow comic book was coming out. So that guy, John Shirley, he reached out to the creator of the Crow. What's his name, Bobbit?
James O'Barr.
Eric Raven.
James O'Barr reached out to Eric Draven, and said, "Hey, I want to make your comic a movie," and then he did. But then he got fired for something. I don't know. Probably because he wanted to make it more like his comic book or whatever.
Mm.
But then we got the Crow.
We got the
Um,
Crow. Yeah, from a visual perspective, from an aesthetic perspective, it's great. It's just not my style of storytelling.
Your
sure.
point
And
talking
it takes
about
itself too seriously. That's the big thing.
You take yourself too
If I had
seriously.
one complaint, if I could only complain about one thing and then have to praise everything else in the movie, like somebody's got a gun to
Oh
my
man, I
head.
wish you could only complain about one thing.
Somebody's got a gun to my head and they're like, okay, you have to pick one
Gun
thing.
to your head.
You have to pick one thing you don't like, and everything else has to be good, or I'm going to shoot you. It would be
Mhm.
this movie takes itself very seriously and is fairly goofy in comparison to how seriously it takes itself. Everything else, I really do kind of like. It's just that fact that I think really pulls me out of what this movie is trying to do.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that kind of works. I don't want to say to its benefit, and maybe it is just me dick riding the movie because I like the movie, but I don't know. There's something about that sort of try hard, but just silly gothic 90s concept in silly gothic 90s execution,
There is
with the
an
that perfect
energy.
blend of
Sorry.
like I don't want to say pretentious, because Dalton keeps saying pretentious. I don't think this movie's that pretentious.
No, yeah.
I think it's exactly what it sets out to be. I don't think something can be called pretentious if it is exactly what it sets out to be. Um, because that's what pretentious means, is trying to be more than what it
Right.
is. You
I
know,
think this movie has an energy about it that's just really
it's got that
captivating.
energy.
It's got the sauce. We discussed
It's
this, and
sauce. It's sauced up. Yeah.
like all
Well,
the
maybe
things
that's
that
it.
Dalton
Okay,
hates
here's
about
a
this movie.
comparison. Here's a comparison. I
hmm
really don't like mayonnaise. I don't
I
like
was
it.
I was going to bring that up, because we were talking about unrelated. We were talking about condiments while
Yeah,
watching this
I
movie,
don't like
and our
mayonnaise.
different views
I really
on
don't.
on condiments. And Bobby, you don't like ketchup, but
Yeah,
I'm a big ketchup enjoyer. It's one of the
right.
few condiments I
I
like.
won't.
I like
It's
mayonnaise, but
very.
only if it's mixed with
See,
ketchup.
it's very hard for
You
me to
know,
enjoy
and the
a
thing is,
sandwich
different
with mayonnaise
people,
on it.
right? Unless it's got
And
ketchup, because
people,
then
people,
it
a
hits.
lot of the time, people are like, "Oh, dude, you don't like blank so and
Right?
so."
No, a lot of people, they can't eat a sandwich unless it has mayonnaise on it,
Right. But
because
I
different
can't
people
eat it.
different
I
people
smell
like
mayonnaise and I
different
gag.
sauce. Hmm
And this movie may have sauce, but it's not my particular
It's not your sauce,
sauce.
and because different people like different sauce, and that's
Well, let me
okay.
tell
You know what I
You
you
know,
mean?
about the sauce of this movie.
different folks for
Yeah,
different strokes. You know what I'm
Yeah, you
saying?
go out because you're a fan of this sauce. You and Daniel for just a few minutes.
I
For
love
let's
this type of
I'm
sauce.
gonna give you guys 10 minutes. You guys talk
Hmm
about the sauce. I'm
10
gonna shut
Yes,
minutes?
up.
because
I'm
it's
gonna quit
saucy.
complaining
It's
about the
saucy.
mayonnaise. You guys talk
Hmm
about how the crow is mayonnaise.
Well, I don't want to say it's
What? I don't
mayonnaise.
think it's mayonnaise. I think it's a much better
I'm
sauce
giving
than
it.
mayonnaise.
I'm
No,
giving it at
people love
least
mayonnaise,
mayonnaise
dude.
mixed with ketchup.
Mayonnaise
Mayonnaise is
lovers.
True.
not it.
I
No.
think mayonnaise is a good comparison because
I
mayonnaise
don't.
lovers love mayonnaise.
I don't, just because I don't like
Sure, yeah,
mayonnaise.
you don't like mayonnaise, but people who do like
But I like
mayonnaise,
this movie. Yeah,
people
but
who
I like
do,
this movie
yeah,
and I
yeah,
don't like
yeah. But
mayonnaise. But I like this movie. I
you
don't.
guys don't just like this movie; you love this movie. People
The
who
crow is
like
not
this movie, who I've talked to,
mayonnaise.
they love this movie. Nobody who likes ketchup's like, oh yeah, no, dude, I just love ketchup. Nobody's like, yeah, I put ketchup on everything. People who like mayonnaise really like mayonnaise. You know what I mean?
So,
I
the
get it,
style
actually.
of
Yeah,
this
Yeah, Daniel
movie.
gets it. Bobbin, do you get
but I'm
it?
still not going to call this movie
Okay,
mayonnaise
sure.
because it's.
Buffalo. It's
Yeah,
buffalo.
all right,
Man,
all
who
right,
If
cares?
yeah,
buffalo's not for you, you don't like
yeah.
buffalo. But if you like buffalo, you don't just like it, you love it. You put it on everything.
So this movie's Buffalo.
This movie is a buffalo, the beast.
What?
Okay.
Yeah, y'all talk about the sauce of this movie for a few minutes.
So Bobby, how
Yeah.
saucy is this movie?
So, you see Eric Draven the Crow.
Right,
He's
Eric
he's
Raven.
he's he's
Oh,
doing.
because he raves. He's raving.
I don't. Did he rave in this movie? I don't think he
No,
raved in
that's what
this
it is.
movie.
No, he raves because he raves. Do you get it?
No.
Because he's raving. Oh, my fault. So how much sauce you got?
So
A lot.
this movie has a certain style about it, and the crow is hanging on a building, and he's doing all these weird acrobatic stunts, and he's
Yeah, he does
running
does a bunch
across.
of flips.
Yeah,
The most iconic in my eyes is when he does that silly swing out the window. I think breaking the window, or maybe it was already broken.
yeah. I
But he
think it
like
was
he like
already
puts his
broken.
hands on the glass, and it
Yeah,
shows the blood dripping. But yeah, he does a bunch of flips throughout the movie. I remember one we both at the same time said it was cool, as Dalton was like, "Wow, that's so dumb." It was when he did like a backflip and landed on his back on the table,
yeah.
as he was fighting some dudes. And
the
it's great.
the
He does
style
all these
of the
little acrobatic
movie
flips.
the style of the movie
Hmm
lies in a few factors, and that is the performance of Brandon Lee and how he's moving. It's the
Absolutely, yeah.
soundtrack, it's the set design, it's
hmm For
the
sure.
I guess the color palette, and it all
Yeah,
kind
yeah.
of works together to create this comic booky. It is very like goofy, but I feel like it
Yeah.
just works and it feels correct and it feels
It
like
yeah, no, it very much feels like and I've said this a couple times on the recording and while watching. It feels exactly like the silly, and I don't want to call this concept silly because it does come from a very emotional place for the author. It's a very personal like passion thing for him from a very personal place. But it is a silly, corny, like it's a fantastical idea with these very gothic supernatural elements that I think carry over in just the right way to
the
this movie. I say
Crow.
that never having read a Crow comic
The
book.
Crow film, I think, is campy successfully in the same way that Batman Forever is kind of campy, which is
That's a
also another
wild
favorite movie
that's a
of mine.
wild
Feel
comparison.
it. I
Hold on, hold on, hold
feel
on,
I
it,
hold on. I'm
don't.
cooking.
but
Hold on.
I know.
no,
I know
I
you're
get it.
cooking.
I
I
see
think
the
it's
vision.
wild.
The focus is a little blurry, but I can see you're turning the knobs. You're
Yeah.
turning the
Okay. Yeah.
knobs
Yeah.
to
No. No. No.
focus it a little bit.
Explain what you mean, and then I do want to. I know I
So,
haven't said anything in a minute. I want to I want to respond to this.
so,
Mm,
Batman Forever, one of my favorite movies of all time. It kind of has this
it's a
style
good
about
one.
it that is hard to get into, also, but is just so specific and crafted specifically by Joel Schumacher for that film.
Hey guys, it's me.
And
It's me, Val Kilmer in Batman Forever. It's me, Val Kilmer in
Hold
Batman
on.
Forever.
Hold on. It's me, Val Kilmer, and Batman Forever.
this is
All right, sorry.
I
Go ahead,
wasn't
man.
informed of this bit because I would have gotten my round glasses
Well,
when I
no,
would
we
have.
weren't either. We just did it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, I just remembered I
But keep
had.
going.
You know,
Genuinely, I'm
it's
excited to see
like,
where this goes.
See, no,
yeah,
because these films both have styles that are like you either love it or you hate it. People either love or hate Batman Forever. Dalton
and no, and
had a very
it's a
aggressive reaction to The Crow
they
Keep
very
going.
fast.
No, Dan, let him
they
talk.
both have a very strange mix. I'm going to interrupt because they do both have a very strange mix of stylized gothic, less on different sides of the spectrum, but they both have
Yeah,
that mix of stylized gothic and campy. The Crow
yeah.
leaning much more heavily towards gothic, Batman Forever leaning much more heavily towards, you know, the campy, silly Joel Schumacher wants to make a million toys side, but
The
Keep
point
going.
more
you
so
know,
being that they kind of have a very similar artistic energy that is just so specific. Like
sure.
you just can't really pin it down because it's Batman Forever. Like the specifics of what it's achieving is so niche. Like it's almost like a like a soap opera in some scenes, and it's like there's
Mm.
such fantastic action, and the Batmobile is riding up the side of a building in the same way the Crow, he's like doing all these weird unnecessary flips, or like, there's just like things happening that are
Yeah,
so
and there's all those
out of
big statues of the big muscular
Yeah, there
men
is. The
reaching out into
Robin is
clothes.
riding his
Yeah,
motorcycle on a
that's
finger.
Batman and
yeah,
Robin.
on one of them, it's
Yeah.
great. Yeah, but the statues are still in
Anyway, yeah, that's my point.
the Gotham style is still in Batman Forever with the
Yeah.
big muscly men
Okay, so that's your
statues.
point. Here would be my counterpoint to that. I also really enjoy Batman Forever. Like a
Mm,
lot.
It's a good one. Yeah.
Me and you are probably close to equal in our love for Batman Forever.
uh-huh.
It's
My favorite.
probably my most watched Batman movie. I love the tone, I love the characters. Here would be my difference. These movies are almost equally silly.
Mm-hmm.
Batman Forever at no
Knows
point
it's silly.
it knows it's silly. It doesn't
Mm.
take itself seriously. This movie does. And more importantly than this movie does, this movie's main character takes himself so seriously when I wouldn't even say he's Val Kilmer's Batman. I would say he's Robin from Batman Forever.
Mhm.
Like it would be like the scene where Robin steals the Batmobile and he gets to all the thugs, and instead of being like instead of being like, "Es my little car, mamacita," instead of saying that, if he
See, I don't
said
know if I
some,
like that one, but go on.
if
Yeah,
instead,
I don't think you cooked with that one, but
if instead he said, "Who knows when it's gonna stop raining," or whatever the quote is, and then just started shooting people, like he takes
it
himself.
says, I'm not afraid to be
Yeah,
killed.
he takes himself so seriously in such a goofy premise with such goofily done, well done. Like I do like the aesthetic and special effects of this movie. Well done, but goofily done, seemingly on purpose effects. And in my mind, that just makes not only him unlikable, but it makes it really hard for me to get pulled into this world and into this story. Whereas in Batman Forever, it's so easy for me to just get sucked into this world, whether it's good or not, because people don't like it, whatever. Whether it's good or not, it's so simple and easy for me to just get pulled into this world because it doesn't take itself seriously. It is a distraction. Like, it is just entertainment for me to distract my brain from the fact that I'm going to die and the world is overheating. This movie has the opposite effect where it's like it's a constant
I don't
reminder.
know, man. At no point in this movie did I think about the fact that I was going to die and the world was
I was
overheating.
I was thinking
constantly
about
in
how
this movie
cool Eric
thinking,
Me
Draven the Crow
personally,
was.
I never once thought
maybe
that.
that's the core of it. Maybe the core of it is what Bobbin just said. I don't think Eric Raven is cool.
Right. Yeah. No, and
I think that's it. Like, I really do think
we've
that's it.
overemphasized that point. I think we've made that abundantly
I
clear
just
that
don't.
we think he's cool and you
Yeah,
don't.
you guys think he's
If
cool.
nothing else has been made
I
clear on
would
this
bully him
episode,
if I saw him in the
it's that.
street.
Right.
Maybe, and
I mean,
probably
I mean,
that's it. Like,
don't get
that's
me
all it
wrong.
is.
Like I probably wouldn't be scared of him. Like if he came up to me, like I'd probably laugh in his face and like I think I could take him.
I
And
could take him.
I probably could outside of the him being immortal
Right. If
thing.
he
Like
wasn't
I probably
immortal, I could
could.
for sure beat him up.
Yeah.
We're talking
Right.
about,
My trench coat's cooler than his because
just to
mine looks like the
clarify,
post.
you guys think
Mhm.
you could 1v1 Eric Draven the Crow?
Yeah.
If he
Okay.
wasn't immortal, yes. In a fist
Yeah.
fight and he didn't
Yeah,
have
me
guns like he
personally.
did in the one
If
scene
I'm
in the
like
movie
if
I
I'm like
liked,
2 or 3 beers deep, yeah, I got him.
I could take him sober.
Now
Okay.
sober I'm cooked, but 2 or 3 beers deep, I'm golden. I'm in
I
that
got that
pocket and he's
redneck
plugging.
strength, you know what I mean?
I'm like nah. I turn into One Punch Man. I hit him, boom.
I got that
Send him
I got
flying
that
back
redneck strength where I
30,
can
40
just
feet.
deadlift a riding lawnmower. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
you got an R word strength, all right.
That's a crazy statement. No, I do think like the heart of our beef on this movie is I don't like Eric Craven as a character and you guys do.
Not his
Stop!
name. But yeah,
Stop it!
we've established that. But
Oh
yeah,
my
it's
god.
His name is
he's
Eric
cool.
Raven.
It's
His name is
not. It's
Eric
Draven.
Raving. His name is.
He's because he's
Raven. No,
raving.
do
He's
you
going
guys
to a
not?
lot of.
You guys didn't
He's
get
going.
it.
No, he's going to a lot of
No,
raves.
no,
He's
you guys didn't get it.
raving.
Raven is a bird. He quotes.
Have we talked about what he does in this movie? I mean, he kills everyone.
Yeah. Well,
Um,
he quotes from
this
the
was
Raven.
this was the least plot oriented episode
which is
ever.
fine. He
Just
quotes
by the
he
way,
quotes from the
yeah.
Raven, the Edgar Allan Poe poem in this movie. So I think his name is Eric Raven.
It's
See, I don't
Draven. We
think his
see
name
we
is
see
Eric
his
Raven.
grave.
But he quotes.
Does he actually?
Yeah,
I don't
he
remember
does.
that.
He says
but
like
what
knock,
is the-
knock, knock, or whatever. He quotes from that's a quote from the Raven, and he says more
Oh,
lines.
that iconic Edgar Allan Poe quote: "Knock, knock."
Yeah, well, it's the Raven is about a guy who like people keep knocking at his door, and he's got like body parts buried underneath his floorboards. Is I think how it goes. He quotes several parts
I don't
from.
know. I never read the Raven, but that sounds like the Telltale Heart one with the heart beating under the floorboards.
Oh,
That's a Poe one.
yeah, you're right. He quotes from the Raven.
I never read the. It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. He quotes.
His name is Eric
He quotes
Draven.
Edgar Allan Poe, which means his
Sure.
last name is Raven.
Clearly, his name is a not so subtle reference to the bird, the raven,
in this
which is
movie,
similar
the
to the
crow.
in which he is brought back to life by the crow.
A crow,
Yeah,
not
it's
the
a good
crow. He's the
movie.
crow.
He kills the guy who's in Nope, who's one of two people named Michael in this movie who are villains and have long hair. One of them was in Nope. The other one killed Brandon Lee in real life. So, you know,
I will say this as we're getting ready to kind of wrap up. We got like 5 more
say this,
minutes.
Dalton. God, please.
I will
say
say this.
please.
I think this movie, provided Brandon Lee didn't die filming it,
Mhm.
completely fades into obscurity. Nobody knows what it is. For right, wrong, indifferent. Like
I don't know. I don't know about. I think it wouldn't have been
notable.
as
gotta think
Daniel,
about
well
the
known
era
you
this
as
came
even
Nope.
out.
you even
No.
said, Daniel,
I
you
said
even
that.
said
Yeah.
while you
No,
were watching
I
it, the
said
reason you watched it is because he died filming it. Like your dad was telling
no.
you the story.
I said that was I said that was the reason I knew about it, and I also said that's a lot of the reason it was successful. But I don't think it's the only reason
No, it
it
still would
is
have been
known as the cult
successful, but what
classic
I'm
it is.
warming is it wouldn't have been nearly as successful had he not died filming
Sure,
it.
sure, yeah, and that's how stuff works when
When people
the main
die, for
star or
sure.
creator dies. Yeah, it's it's life. There's a quote about that probably.
That's
Really?
life. You never know what you're gonna get. It's like a
Right.
box of chocolates.
Yeah, that's what all the people say.
Mm.
Yeah.
No,
I did it
I
my
don't I
way.
don't hate this movie. I know it sounds like coming from this podcast that I do. I like it
What?
enough. I'm probably
No.
never gonna watch it again. I mean, I might at some point just to see if I still don't like the way it feels. Maybe when I'm 40 and depressed, I'll love this movie. You know what I mean?
See, I
Okay.
thought you
Maybe
were already depressed.
yeah,
That's what
well,
I
for
thought too.
sure.
I
Maybe
thought you were already
hey,
40.
listen, maybe that's the reason I don't like it. You know what I mean? Maybe there's some stuff going on in my life, but I don't know. For me,
Or you think you're a little too happy?
nah, maybe I'm a little too sad.
I don't know,
Maybe
you
I'm
can
a
be a little
little
too depressed for the crow, but
maybe I'm a
you got to
little
find that pocket. You got to find that
right.
depression
Maybe I'm
pocket to
outside
enjoy
of the
the crow,
pocket.
I
I'm
think.
too happy, I'm too sad, who knows. But for
Could be,
me
who knows? Who's to say?
personally, the crow
Really, I think ultimately it's the point that we've hammered home that you don't think Eric Raven the Crow is cool,
I just
and
don't.
we do.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
And
that's all right.
we didn't even mention that
Not everyone thinks everyone's cool,
we didn't even mention that throughout
but
this,
you're just
every
wrong.
time you guys were like, "Oh, he's so cool," immediately, either before or after, I would say something along the lines of, "God,
Right?
he's so
Because
lame."
the crow would do something really cool
'Cause
on
he's so
screen,
cool.
like do a flip
You're
and
just
then
a
shoot
hater,
his
dude.
guns, or like do something really cool with like a
Or like
sword,
be
and
like
then
hanging
Dalton
from
would
the
say
ceiling,
like,
and then he throws a bunch of knives, and he says a
yeah,
cool
or
line.
he'll
He gets
just like
shot a
do
bunch of
something
times.
really crazy and wild, and it's so cool and neat, and it's very
Yeah,
Yeah.
but it came
stylized.
He's
It's
across
all
in his
to
very
garden, he
me, it
smashes
came across as pretentious and lame, which is weird
because
because
Hey, cool
yes,
still
normally,
sucks.
normally, Bobbin, especially me and
Normally, you're
you,
pretentious and lame.
normally, Bobbin, especially me and you, like when we're having these conversations, things are flipped. You'd be like, "Oh, that was so lame," and I'll be like, "Oh, it was so awesome." Like
wait, what
normally,
else? What else?
well, I'm the
I
one who
can't.
like looks at people and I'm like, "Oh, he looks so cool," or whatever, and you're like, "Yeah, but they could have done this." You said
Hmm,
that while we were watching the film. Um,
did I?
yeah,
Wait.
Huh.
you did. You said that Dalton,
With what
you're
character?
typically the guy who's like the aesthetic, it's cool, so it's cool guy.
Hmm.
Which is
But
true. I am like I love a good like, oh, that's aesthetic, so that makes it cool thing. And for whatever reason, this just didn't
Right.
jive with me.
what
Well,
we
it's because you don't think it's
is that
cool.
the
That's
crow
different strokes for different strokes.
the crow has a
Um,
very distinct style. It's
it
very
does
cool
for
to some
sure.
people and hard
Hmm.
to get into a little bit.
Well, I
Um,
think Coolsville sucks. So
Mm.
huh.
Sucksville would probably be cool. Think that's a thinker. You'll get it on the ride home.
This is the definition of a movie where you shouldn't listen to what anybody has to say about it. You should just go and watch it if you've never seen it.
Yeah, for
Because
sure, for
this
sure. This is
could
definitely a movie you have to form your own opinion about.
like I
Like most movies, I
see.
think
I
all
don't know that
movies
it's all
probably
movies.
you should form
Like
your own
Godzilla
opinion
versus
about.
Kong. You don't need to form your own opinions about it.
I mean, sure.
Read
you
the
don't really. No one who watched that movie really had an opinion.
Right.
They just watched.
That's what I'm
it,
saying.
That's
Like
how I
there
felt.
are
I just
movies
watched
where
it.
it's like, yeah, well, this person who I agree with
Actually, I
likes
had an
it.
opinion about when Kong used the baby
It was
Kong to
awesome.
hit the other big Kong as a weapon. Yeah, that was cool.
But yeah, this is definitely a movie where it might be your cup of tea, it might not. You should just watch it.
And maybe you don't even like tea. Maybe you're a
Maybe
coffee guy. Or
maybe
just
you're a
like
coffee man.
maybe you just like a warm glass of milk or
Yeah,
something.
maybe you prefer
No
soda
shame in
as
that.
opposed to like sweet iced tea. You know what I mean?
Well, sure.
Maybe the
sure,
price is
sure.
on the can though.
Well, the price is on the can though. Actually, I think they removed
Price is
it
not
because
on
they
the
changed the
can. The
price.
price is on the
It's not on the
box that
can
the can
anymore.
comes in.
Now the
I
price
think.
on the
But the
can
price
though.
used to be on the can. Now it's removed from the can.
I think
When was
the
it ever on
new
the can? What year was it on
It
the
was
can?
Arizona iced tea, bruh.
back in the day on Arizona. It was always
It
on
was
the
all
can.
price on the can though.
It was it
Actually,
said 99 cents. It was the biggest thing on. It was bigger than the
right.
logo.
Also,
It was like a
the
star
new
sun kind of like thing.
Bando Stone tie-in
Oh, shut
Arizona,
up!
which is like a fruity flavored whatever. It does have the price
You're
on
a
the
fruity
can.
fan.
Anyway,
Is it? What price is it?
I think
though?
it's like $1.99 or something ridiculous. Anyway,
Boo.
Bobbin, real quick, why don't you tell us a little bit? Just remind us about Robin Gothica again. Remind everybody that it won't be anything like this appearance on the podcast, so they actually want to watch
Right.
it.
Right.
So, also for separate clip purposes, my name is Bobby. Hi. I had a wonderful time guesting on our little podcast. My project, Robin Gothica, is dropping later this year, heavily inspired by The Crow and other films we're watching, directed by our good buddy Nathaniel William Mazinski, and it's going to be a hoot.
I've got a
And
little
that's
bit of
all. You can
And a
follow.
holler,
a hoot
probably.
and
For
holler.
only $1.
Bobbin, I do
My-
have a
my,
little bit.
go ahead.
Keep going. No, keep going.
Okay. My Instagram is designed by Bobby if you want to look at that, and Robin Gothica is also on there. And yeah, that's it. Thanks.
Cool. I do have a little bit of bad news for you though.
Okay.
And you're going to be the first person to know about this other than me and Daniel.
Okay.
Nate will not know about this because he's not going to watch it, and you're not allowed to tell him. Is that okay?
Okay.
We are not watching Daredevil or any of the other movies that you suggested because we're going to watch the next 4 Crow movies for the next 4 weeks.
Can't do it. We can't do it.
We watched the first
do
The
it.
Crow.
We're
Next
gonna,
week
we're
we're watching.
gonna.
What was
It's happening.
the
You're
name of the
locked
second
in.
one?
City
The
of
Crow
Angels.
Salvation.
I don't know.
City of
Sin
Angels.
City-
Next
City
week
of
City of
we're
Angels
watching
is the
City of
second
Angels.
You said that one was good.
Yeah.
You said that one was
Apparently
good.
that one's
I
good.
remember
I don't know.
specifically
Yeah,
you
next
said
week
that
we're
one
watching
was
The Crow
good,
City of
so
Angels. Then we're going to
locked
watch
in, and you
whatever the
can't tell
next 2
Nate.
are. We're going to watch all of the Crow movies, including the one with a young
Chances
John
are, I'm being realistic. We're not going to get that far. We're going to at least watch 2, but
I think 2. If 2
I don't
is
know
good,
how
I
far
think we're going to
I
get
don't
to
know
3.
how far we're going to get.
But yeah,
We'll
we're going to
see.
surprise Nate. It's going to be great. It's going to be
But
wonderful.
yeah, that's
Thank you guys for
well, that
watching
just
this episode
happened.
of Semi Pro. Shout out Bobbin. He's the best. Love him to death. He's been
Am
a friend of
I?
mine for very many years.
Yeah.
I know I
Shout
disagree
out
with him
Alvin
about The
Draper.
Crow. But me and him.
Shout out this episode made possible by Pabst Blue Ribbon. No sponsorship, but
It was definitely needed
You
to
know.
make it possible.
help.
This
yeah.
episode made possible by viewers like you. Thank you.
This episode made possible by Dalton's stupid ass spam hat.
It's awesome though, isn't it?
It is pretty cracked. It's better than the dumbass 3-1.
Oh, wait, hold on. What do you prefer? Take your pick. Anyway, we'll see you on the very next episode of Semi Pro. Bobbin will be back next week.
I
Joined
guess we're
by
watching The Crow. City
We're
of
watching
Angels.
The Crow City of Angels.
Sin City.
Um,
Sin City was a graveyard.
and we'll be joined by our another friend Nate. It's going to be awesome. Can't wait to
You
see
gotta
you.
be
Join us
fucking
next week
kidding
for the
me.
very next episode of Semi Pro. We'll see you then.